Hi subscribers, hi viewers. I am cycling towards central Beijing. It is around 7 a.m. As you can tell, here it's a residential community. They do have that in all the residential communities. You need to scan your QR code to enter into any residential community. If you live there, you still have to do it. It don't matter who you are, where you're from. They are very strict about it. And in Beijing you'll discover a lot. There's just a police station site that you will see, and traffic is normally busy. If you take a look, is a lot of people there on bikes, and we're talking about electric bikes. When you come down to electric bikes, you will get to bicycles, and when you get to bicycles, you will get to, of course, drivers. But the two most preferred forms of transport in Beijing are, one, the subway, and cycling. Mopeds, yes, you do get a lot of mopeds. They're mainly highly used by delivery people. They are highly used by delivery people. So to commute and navigate your way around Beijing, it is easy. I think the best way, like I always say in my videos, the best thing to do, okay, take a look. There's some these are bus stops. These are typical Beijing bus stops. There's the best way to navigate around Beijing, sorry, I just distracted myself, is to know your local subway station. If you know your local subway station, it makes it easy for you never to get lost. You will always find your way around Beijing, navigate your way around Beijing. How does that make it easy for you to navigate? Because all the Beijing subway stations, they connect. You'll need to change maybe one subway line, maybe to commute in two subway lines, to change only once. It's really you need to change twice, because all the subway lines, they are connected. I'll show you something here. What we have here, I've been here before. On the other side of the road is people buying their breakfast. Normally most Chinese people, and I see this a lot with my father-in-law. So I did not show you. There's a lady who come down with the pot. They come and buy cooked food and consume it as groceries, right? So they just buy and go home and eat. Normally my father-in-law is the one that's really obsessed with this, and me, I don't mind cooking for my family an English breakfast or just a sandwich, because that's what happens and that's what I'm used to. But for my in-laws, breakfast is the most important thing that everyone has to sit around. So if you join the family, you need to make sure that you wake up in the morning. This is the post office. I've got a long story with that post office. So like, I'm cycling towards Beijing at the moment, and we're cycling past some university. I know behind that building there is a university, but I'm not sure of what the building is. So as you can tell, as we move towards the central Beijing, traffic is becoming heavier and heavier. And like I say, the best three preferred, I don't know if I mentioned that, the most preferred form of transport in Beijing mainly is cycling and mopeds and the subway system. Driving, really, it is a serious expense to drive in Beijing, and is considered as a leisure, as a privilege to be able to drive, because even just to get a number plate for you to buy a car, I understand it is a difficult process, but I am happy with what's happening at the moment. You cannot see over there. I wish I should have gone there, but it will be a little bit darker. If I proceed like this, we will end up in central Beijing I can say central Beijing, we consider it as Tiananmen Square, really. So I don't know what the security is going to be like. Oh, the other thing is there is a lot of electric buses in Beijing. Everything seems to be changing. In China, really, it seems to be changing from fossil fuels to renewable fuels. Talking about electric, scooters are becoming electric, cars are becoming electric, buses, they are becoming electric. And we're talking about the subway and the trains. You are seeing that as electric most of the times. I just have to follow this old lady here. I know a lot of people ask me, what did I see in Beijing and what do I like about Beijing? Really, I like Beijing because, in fact, just in general, not just Beijing, is Shan, that's a subway station. Just in case you don't know, Beijing subway station. Actually, all the subway stations in Beijing, they got something like a minimum of 3 to 4 entrances and exits. Yeah, they got a minimum of 3, but an average is like 4 exits and entrances. And some of subway stations, they're under some malls or some big buildings, so it's just easy for you to get off and just do your shopping and go home. Yes, I was on the point, like, why am I in Beijing and what do I like about Beijing? Not Beijing in general, but China. One, I can say, is security. Security is the most important thing that I prefer about China. And 2, convenience of things. We're talking about doing business, travel, and life. It makes your life easier. I'll come back to these. I'm just naming them at random. 3 is the cost of living. It is, I think, the cost of living in China is affordable, but I've only lived in only 3 places around Beijing. Around China and Beijing, Tianjin and Hebei. Those are the 3 places that I've resided in. But I've never lived in other places, although I've traveled Guangzhou, Xiamen, and amongst other places which I cannot remember, but not other big cities. I find it very easy and convenient. And the cost of transport is very cheap. And moving from one city to another, it is very fast. It makes it really convenient, considering that I have lived in Europe. And sorry, I need to stop a little bit here and switch off my alarm. I think it's the study alarm. So that was my business email alarm. So during the week, by this time, I would have been up after maybe doing some exercises and working on my YouTube channel. This is the time I really, if my daughter's nursery is open, and of which it should have been opening next week, and we've been on something like 2 months plus a few days on lockdown. I would have been sending the emails before I take my daughter to the nursery. Then after that, I go to the gym. So that was my my email alert alarm. So now let's talk about the other things. Commuting around cities and commuting around areas. As you can see, most of these people that you see cycling in front of me, these are women. And it's not like, because being from Africa, explaining that I cycle everywhere to my friends and to people that I talk to mainly, they think it is a sign of poverty that I cannot afford a car. Of course I can afford a car. If I can afford to buy a property in China, I can afford a car. But it's really unnecessary to buy a car unless if you're a Chinese native and you live in a big, unless, or you live in an open area. We're talking about Tiananmen. Tiananmen is actually, they got electric scooters and everything. There is some places, Handan, yeah, talking about Handan, you'll be able, I've been to Handan, maybe there is a necessity for you to own a car, because the surrounding areas, they just open and they're far apart. So as we cycle along, I will show you the rest of the place until we reach central Beijing. So Shunjie station, there's another subway station. As I cycle along, you'll see a lot of subway stations. Some of them I miss them because I'm concentrating on the road. Yeah, I was talking about like the necessity of owning a car. Really, it is unnecessary unless if you live in some not big cities really, but living in Beijing, it is really unnecessary. I've got now talking about how I commute. You see, most of the times it's really you see me in a car. Mainly if I'm in a car is when I'm traveling with my wife and my daughter, when we're traveling to leave the city, going traveling to somewhere and coming back, or I've got a guest that I need to go pick up at the station, train station, and bring back home, or taking someone to the train station. Mainly that's when I've had to be in a taxi and in a car. Really talking about my brother-in-law, he resides in Beijing as well, so sometimes he does to come and visit us, and picks me up. We'll go to the shops and everything. And the subway is very convenient. Like I said, if you get lost in Beijing, if you do watch most of my videos, those are shantongs. Those are shantongs, old residential places in Beijing. They mentioned to be very, very cheaper. And I once spoke about my wife when I first arrived in Beijing. She was like, these are the most affordable, cheapest places to reside in, and they're very, very, very beautiful and traditional places. It's not like where we're living. I'm sure if you've seen some of my videos showing you my communities, you see I live in like in modern building areas. I've not had an opportunity. Shangtong, I think I should go there, but as we proceed straight, I'll make another video. I know I promised you to visit them, and now that I know where most of them are, I'll have the opportunity to travel and show you where they are. So now I'm very close to the central Beijing. I'm very close, and tell me if it's really necessary to buy a car if it takes me something like 20 minutes to reach the city center. That's the question. Is it necessary? And now I want to talk about the bikes. And the bikes, I do own a bike, and me and my wife, we do own bikes, and I don't use them quite a lot. Yeah, now we're entering central Beijing. As you can see, there is some barriers and more security, so I'll proceed straight. This is the Fushingmen inner street. So where we are right now, if I cross over there, this is now part of central Beijing. So I will make a U-turn somewhere up front to show you exactly where we are. So this area is, I'm sure if you had watched some Beijing parades, the military parades and other parades, you'd have seen them on a big street. That's the street that we just went past. That you'll have seen the military vehicles driving past. at the top of my head, I don't know where the Tiananmen Square is, and I'm sure it is the next street or the street that we just went past, but I'm not really sure. So I need to navigate my way around this place until I find something familiar. These are people commuting to work. I remember it's early 7 in the morning, almost like we're talking about. After 7 in the morning, you're just commuting to work, and it's a weekend. Now, what else can I talk about in Beijing? Which city or which area do I prefer the most? Is Tianjin. Tianjin, I love Tianjin so much that I've resided in Tianjin twice. I've lived in Tianjin twice. And every time I was in Tianjin, I had a very great experience. And I am going, I've had to actually buy a property in Tianjin, which is under construction. Why I love Tianjin, it is convenient, peaceful, clean air, and less noisy. There's less noise pollution. And it's just like a few minutes away to Beijing on the fast train, because you just need to jump on the fast train and you're in Beijing within a few minutes. So you don't have to reside in Beijing if you live in Tianjin, although it costs a little bit. But if you're living, the transport bills are, I can say living in Beijing, living in Tianjin, and commuting to Beijing costs less than it costs than living in Beijing. So, and the traveling times are almost the same, because within the last 17 minutes I would have been almost arriving in Beijing from Tianjin. So as we travel up ahead, I'll look for a place where I can stop and show you and navigate and find out exactly where we are at the moment, and try to find and navigate, find my way back home, because I'm planning to use a different direction when I'm now heading back. So if you live in Beijing, I'm sure you'd have seen some of these places around and some of these buildings. Right now we're at the China Overseas Fortune Center. This is the China Overseas Fortune Center. So to head to the Tiananmen Square, I should have turned where I told you that's the main street, the main parade street, but I proceeded straight because I just wanted to show you what is like, what other areas of Beijing are. So we've went beyond the main street in Beijing, which goes past actually it's not a street, because a street is it's a road. So I'll proceed straight. Sorry, I had to pick something up, my phone. So these are all buildings, as you can tell, and it's very expensive to live in these places. Like I was saying, like living in Tianjin and commuting to Beijing every day is cheaper, according to my calculations. Not really living in the Tianjin district. No. I'm saying living. No, there's some places I lived in. Sometime I resided in Wuqing. Wuqing was close. It's just a few minutes away from Tianjin center, so it makes it easy for everybody to commute. It's just along the way to Beijing, so that's what it was like. It was very easy and convenient, and it was a very friendly place when I resided there. I was the only foreigner and I stood out really like a sore thumb. That's what they say. So with the experience that I continue to experience around China, maybe some situations, undesired circumstances will force me to leave China, but I don't see myself leaving China anytime soon. So what we have here is you can tell if people are going into a building, you need to do your health scan, your QR code health scan, and as I said, it shows you where you have been in Beijing. It shows if you have been around Beijing, and sorry, which buildings you have been to, which places you have visited. So if they're doing the COVID tracing, they know who has been here at what time, so they can easily trace and contact you through message, and they will call you. Unfortunately, I had last time on my, not unfortunately, actually I had a call from the health department and the police force, the Beijing police, explaining that if I am on quarantine, and what I need to do while I'm on quarantine. So as I proceed here, I will show you. We're almost like on the Tiananmen area, and I'm sure this could be a sensitive area that I might have to stop filming at some point. Remember, I went right round, I went the long way round, not the short way. So I will proceed and continue to show you this. And it is very, very expensive to live around here. It's no joke. If you live in here, you need to make sure that you got enough money. So I'll make a right turn over there, although I should have made a right turn somewhere where I just went past. So like here, as you can see, subway stations everywhere. So if I cannot find my way back, I'll have to jump on the subway station. There is a subway station just over there. So for those that don't know where I am right now, I will explain for you. This is one of the biggest shopping centers in China. In Beijing. This is one of the biggest shopping centers in Beijing. I've been, it's not like shopping center as such, but it is a shopping district. I've been here with my uncle when he came for, as you can tell, everything is shut down. We got some COVID testing facilities. You can come down here, do your shopping, easy shopping, and go on about your business, really. You might excuse me because I don't know some places in Beijing, but I know how to navigate my way around places around Beijing. So where we're going, like I said, this is central Beijing. What you have to know is just this is central Beijing. I will make another visit sometime soon. So now we're heading towards the Tiananmen Square, and if I had gone straight to the Tiananmen Square, I would have been heading my way towards home right now, but I still got a long way to cycle and go around until I make it to my place. As you can tell, there's you know, every time when you see a scenery of old Chinese buildings, those places will be nice. Those places will be very, very beautiful, that you can enjoy visiting and enjoy seeing. So I will proceed and show you the Tiananmen Square, or just a small view of what we call the Forbidden Palace. So I'll add the video of this place. Minfeng Hutongs, there's some Hutongs over there, so Like I said, Wutongs are all residential areas. So I'll add the name of this place on the title. So just give me a break, I'll find exactly, because I know where this is and I've been here before. And there's a subway station below, and we did manage to change some foreign currency on a bank across the street. Yeah, this is Beijing, as you can tell. 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes of cycling. No minutes spared. So I have to make my way to the left here and proceed to where we're going. Sorry if you see me stopping the videos and everything. It's because this is a sensitive area. So I try not to be mischievous, because China is a very strict country. I don't want to get myself into trouble or to find myself in trouble over filming for you. So I try to abide by the laws and make sure that everything is okay, and I am playing by the laws. I don't want to find myself in trouble, like I said. Like I said, if you do watch some Chinese parades, and this is the main street really where the military vehicles will be traveling on. Like I said, security is very strict. We're heading towards the Tiananmen Square, and this is a heavily fortified and guarded place, and you can tell the military people, the military guards, and there's a lot of police around this area. So is the Wutongs. So I wouldn't be surprised if I get a knock on my door from the security services because of traveling here and filming around this place. I wouldn't be surprised. So anyway, let's proceed straight. Like I said, if I'm filming and I'm cutting the videos, don't be surprised. I am just avoiding some issues. Yes, I stopped filming for about a few minutes, and because this is a highly sensitive place, we've arrived at the Tiananmen Square, just in front of the Forbidden Palace. I don't know, because here I don't want to find myself being pulled over and having to explain my foreignness to some Chinese security people, because they don't fuck around. If you want to find out exactly how strict they can be, these people, they don't fuck around. It is quite they are nice, don't get me wrong, they are very nice people. They'll help you along where you need to be helped. And as you can tell, this is the Tiananmen Square, and I've really enjoyed, and I'm just gonna take a few photos while I'm